Welcome to the Wyoming Women's Business Center's 2021 webinar series. Today's presentation is 15 ways to connect with your crowd online. My name is Jessica Brower and I'm the Marketing Director with the Wyoming Women's Business Center, and I will be your speaker today. So before we start, I want to point out the Zoom control panel, likely on the bottom or top of your screen. I want to call attention to the questions panel. And if you have any comments or questions during the webinar, I'd like you to use this to communicate with me. You're also welcome to use the chat function to introduce yourself and chat with one another. But if you have any questions for me, go ahead and use that Q&A button. This webinar is being recorded, and a link to the recording will be sent out to all registrants shortly after the live event today. You can always visit our website at www.wyomingwomen.org and navigate to the training tab to view any upcoming webinars, as well as all of our past webinar recordings. If you're watching this webinar with us live this afternoon, a survey will launch shortly after we close the presentation. If you could, please complete that survey, as it provides me and our funding partners with valuable information for our webinar series moving forward. And as a reminder, all participants are muted to minimize any background noise. So once again, if you have any questions or comments during the presentation, go ahead and type those into the questions panel. So before I get started with this afternoon's presentation, let's go over some quick information about the WWBC in case you aren't familiar with us already. The WWBC is a nonprofit organization in Wyoming whose mission is to enable and empower our entrepreneurs, with a special emphasis on women who are economically or socially disadvantaged. We do this through 3 distinct programs. The first is our business counseling and training program, which is always free. The second is our microfinance program, which offers microloans. And third is the Artist Development Center that we run in conjunction with our Works of Wyoming store and Art Connect Gallery in downtown Laramie. And lastly, you may have heard of our COVID-19 support program, which launched last spring and wrapped up this June after supporting over 440 businesses with resources and grant dollars. I want to call special attention to these services that are available to you as a client of the WWBC. It's very quick and easy to become a client if you aren't already. You can sign up by going to wyomingwomen.org or contacting us directly for more information. At the end of my presentation, you'll see some contact information that you can write down if you'd like to get in touch that way. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So this month, we are talking all about business networking. And if you're here and you're curious, why do I care about business networking? Why should I do it? I'm going to encourage you to check out the first webinar in this series called What is Business Networking and Why is it Important for My Business? In this presentation, Christine talked about why we network, why it's important, and what some of the benefits are. And in that, she talked about tangible benefits, which are things like making the sale, but also all of the intangible benefits, like making connections and building relationships, boosting your confidence, that kind of thing. So today, I'm talking to you mostly about social networking. So you're going to see a lot of ways that you can network with customers and make sales. However, all of these tools could be used to build connections in other ways as well, whether that's connecting with like-minded individuals, other people in your industry, mentors, that kind of thing. So if you haven't checked out this webinar, I would really suggest it. And you can get there by going to wyomingwomen.org/training. So let's go ahead and get started. Number 1, Facebook groups. So you'll see here an example of a Facebook group that is for a business. This is a company that makes customized pet tags, and they started this Facebook group where their customers can interact, share photos of their pets, see what new products are new, that kind of thing, which is a great way to stay connected using some free tools on social media. Facebook groups are also a really great tool to use to find professional organizations or other people in your industry to connect with. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of Facebook groups out there. There's likely local ones in your community and ones that fit more with your industry. So I suggest just doing some searching and seeing what you can find, or even asking some of your mentors or other people that you work with now if they know of any groups that would make sense for you to engage with. Next up is local calendars. I have an example here of the Wyoming Public Media Calendar. So it is going to have all sorts of events workshops, concerts, that kind of thing in there. So if you're ever hosting a promotion, if you're doing a customer appreciation barbecue, if you're doing something something that would fit on a local calendar, then use it. Oftentimes, local newspapers have these, local chambers of commerce. There's all sorts of publications that often have calendars. So this is going to look different community to community. Obviously, Wyoming Public Media is statewide. And so there will be some statewide calendars, but the ones that are really great to look at are ones that are in your community, that you know that the folks in your town are taking a look at while they're building out their schedule for the week. Next is Google Alerts. And this is something that I absolutely love that I think is kind of a super secret little trick. So if you go to google.com/alerts, you can set up notifications. So you're notified anytime a certain phrase or name is published on the internet. So I get emails every time the Wyoming Women's Business Center is mentioned somewhere. And why is this important to me? Well, then I can know when people are talking about me or talking about our organization. And then I can share it with our channels, whether that's on our newsletter, on our social media. If I see that somebody mentioned us in an article in a newspaper that I wasn't sure of, or if somebody linked to our resources in a blog or something on their social media, then I can then reciprocate and reshare and let them know that we saw it and say thank you or whatever that looks like. So if you aren't already doing this, I think this is a great way just to have an idea of where you're being mentioned out there. And of course, you're going to want it to be a specific phrase. You don't want to be notified something as simple as Wyoming women gets published on the internet, because you'll get a lot of stuff that's not you. But you could put your business name here, your name, your first and last name, whatever makes the most sense for what you actually want to be monitoring. Next is surveys. So surveys are a great way to check in with your customer and to ask how they're feeling. What do they need? What do they want? You know, maybe you're building a new schedule for a class offerings, or you want to launch a new product, or you want to tweak something. It's really helpful to know what your customers are thinking and feeling. And so surveys are a really great way to do this. Oftentimes people send out surveys and they give some sort of incentive, you know, that maybe there's a giveaway, you're entered into a raffle for a gift card, or if you submit a survey, then you get a discount the next time you come and shop. And you can think about what makes the most sense for you and your budget and your business. But I think this is a really great way to start to communicate with your customers. Two tools that I really like to use for surveys are SurveyMonkey and Typeform. Both of them have paid options, but both of them also have free options. There's just less customization and that kind of thing available in the platform. So this isn't something that needs to break the bank. You can do it for free. You also could make paper surveys and pass them out in your store if that makes more sense for you. But it's just a way to consider gathering data so you can make an educated response in how you move forward and scale or tweak your business offerings. Next is interviews and features. So these examples here are from a coffee shop here in Laramie, and they did this really awesome feature on their regular customers. They interviewed their customers, they wrote a little paragraph about them, they said what their favorite drink is, what they do in the community. And what a fun way to connect a business to community. And they're not just trying to make the sale here. They're not just trying to sell you a cup of coffee, tell you what their special is today. They're letting you know that they care about their community that they're serving. And I think this is a really great way to build stories, to collect stories, to really spread the word about your business and the mission of your business in a way that isn't so salesy. Another option is contests. So a lot of times you see this as photo contests, and that's what these two examples are here, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a photo contest. So the one on the left was the Wyoming Craft Brewers Guild did a brewery dog contest. That's a mouthful. And so people submitted their photos, and then people voted on them by liking them on their social media page. And there was a winner of the most loved or the cutest brewery dog. Similarly, on the right, here's an example where they're asking for photos from winter break adventures, and then they would be entered in to win some product or some food from this restaurant. So those are just two examples of using photos. Like I said, you don't have to use photos. Maybe you have a business where doing a task makes more sense, or submitting something that's written, or writing a testimonial, or writing something else. It doesn't always have to be a photo. So that's something to consider. Next up is blogging. Blogging is a content creation tool that is so helpful for a lot of reasons. If you've ever heard me or anyone else talk about search engine optimization, blogging is one of those tasks that a lot of people reference to really optimize your website in search engines. Similarly, it's a way to tell some longer form stories, to create some more content, to maybe share some behind the scenes, and to have some content that's engaging on your website that you could then share elsewhere. And I'm a big fan of working smarter, not harder. So if you write a blog post, then share that on Facebook, share it on Instagram, share it in your newsletter. Just because you published it in one place doesn't mean you can't tell everybody in all of the other channels to go back to that place and look at it. Reusing this content or circulating it across all of your channels is the best way to ensure that you're going to get many eyes on it. So don't be shy. Next is giveaways. So oftentimes I've talked to businesses and they feel like, gosh, I don't want to have to give away product. I don't want to have to give away money. I feel like I just always have to spend this money or give a thing away in order to get some reaction. And I have two responses to that. One is, I get it. I understand. It feels like you're bleeding. You're giving something away that you don't feel like you're getting a return on. But secondly, I encourage you to think about things like giveaways, or giving away product, or giving a discount in a creative way as advertising dollars. If you bought an ad in a magazine, or if you paid for a boosted post on Facebook, if you had a commercial or something like that, those dollars are not guaranteed to get you a certain amount of customers in the door. While that's what we want, and we want to create intentional campaigns to ensure that they're being effective, it is a shot in the dark. So you're spending money to market and to kind of cast a wide net and get people interested in hopes that they'll come in and spend money. Doing a giveaway is similar. So if you're feeling iffy about it, then I encourage you to think about giveaways as advertising dollars. And something like a $50 gift card is small potatoes compared to what it could be what it could cost to buy an online ad campaign or something like that. So here are just a few examples, something as small as giving away a smoothie. So they're asking to tag a friend or somebody that you love in the social media comments. Somebody's chosen at random, and then they get a free smoothie. That's probably like a $3 investment from the business, and it's going to get a lot of people excited, because who doesn't like the free smoothie? Next are these gift certificates. This was during Small Business Saturday in the fall. So this was just coordinated with some of their sales. So they're asking their customers to come spend a certain amount of money or to shop certain sales, and in that they get additional gift certificates for later purchases. The one on the right is a bigger giveaway. You'll see here, they're giving away $500 for store credit at a furniture store. This is significant. However, again, you could spend $500 on a newspaper ad, and maybe they opted to do this instead. And you can see here, there's 625 likes, 110 comments, and 722 shares. That's a furniture store here in Laramie. We're a decently small community, and it's a small store, but it's getting big attention there. So clearly it's valuable. Next is respond to questions and comments. This is something that I really harp on with businesses who often get stuck in a rut where they just create content and kind of set it and forget it. What I want you to do is to also pay attention to what are people saying on your posts, and are you responding thoughtfully? Sometimes all you can really say is thank you, or give an emoji, or like it, or something like that. But if you can continue the conversation, just like in this example here, and ask a question, then you're gonna start to connect and foster a more rich, robust relationship with this person. And hopefully that will keep them coming back to engage with your content, and eventually purchasing from you if they haven't already. And if they have purchased from you, then continuing to purchase from you and just spread the word. So I always tell people in their marketing plans to schedule a small amount of time each week or each day, whatever that looks like for you, however your marketing plan looks, to comb through and make sure you're responding to questions and comments. Next, ask questions and polls. So this is very similar to surveying. It has the exact same purpose, but is just done in maybe a different venue. So you'll see here, this is a brewery, and they asked for there to be a vote on a beer. And so with this, people just would comment and say what they were most interested in. Sometimes you'll see this with designers. They'll post photos of something and ask for input on colors or materials. Do you like the red or the green? Do you like the leather or the vinyl? Which is your favorite? This is a really good way to get the customer involved and to make them feel like they're helping you build the business and make a decision. And hopefully they'll be so excited about it that then they want to buy it. There's some really great features for questions and polls on Instagram stories. So if that isn't something you've looked at, then I would really suggest doing that. You can create, there's a little template where you can just create kind of a button that allows you to ask questions or to ask for a vote on something. And I think this is a really great way to keep people engaged and to make them interact a little bit so they don't just scroll on past, because we all know we're just inundated with content constantly. And so sometimes we need a thing to do. So we kind of, we engage instead of just being glassy-eyed and blowing right through it all. Next, engage with accounts. Similar to responding to questions and answers, questions and comments, this is a call for you to think about how can you engage with other accounts on social media. Remember, it's a social platform, which means you're there to be social. That's what networking is. We want to connect with other people. So you want people to connect with you, but you also need to connect with other people. So you can do this a lot of ways. Here you'll see a screenshot. This is of the hashtag downtown Laramie hashtag. So this is going to show all the photos that have used this hashtag. So if my business was in downtown Laramie, this would be a really great hashtag for me to follow and to just engage with. If I see something I like, then to leave a comment, to like some photos, to see what other people are doing, and to just see how we can connect. This is really, really valuable. And oftentimes when you see folks who have a large Instagram following, this is how they built it, was by connecting with other people. There's some false myth out there that there's a way to get a bunch of followers and a bunch of engagement on social media by, going viral or doing a certain combination of things. And while this does happen for a lot of people, most times it's just luck. And many, many, many of the accounts that you see that have a good following, an engaged following, and big numbers, they've built that because they've engaged with a lot of people. They've liked content, they've shared it, they've commented, and they've devoted some time to connecting on these social networks as if you were connecting in a networking event in person. Another option is challenges. So you see this a lot in the fitness world or the yoga world. So here is an example of just kind of a fitness challenge. It could be a thing that you do every day for a week and you post about it, or you use a certain hashtag. Maybe that's a cooking challenge. Maybe you're asking people to cook from home and to share photos of what they cooked. Maybe you're asking people to engage in a self-care challenge. Maybe you're a yoga teacher or a massage therapist, and you're really encouraging folks to take care of themselves. So you're challenging folks to take care of themselves and to post about it every day for a week. I think this is a really great way to connect with your community when you know what your community, what their lifestyle looks like. When you're getting beyond just the product that you're selling or beyond just the service that you're selling. You understand their lifestyle. You want them to engage with your brand because you know it fits into their lifestyle. Next is unique to you events. So we're talking about online stuff right now. This could be done in person as well. So the screenshot here is of the Hallmark Keepsake Ornament premiere at the Curiosity Shop here in Laramie. They do this event in July, every July, as long as I've been here, and it is very well attended by collectors of these Hallmark keepsake ornaments. And it always astounds me how many people show up and how excited they get. And this is an event that is unique to Curiosity Shop. There isn't another retailer in town that is going to have this event. And this is true in many businesses, in many communities, and it can be true for you too. It just takes some thinking and experimenting. Another one that I think of is here, there was a store, there still is a store called Atmosphere Mountain Works, and they previously used to have this Christmas blowout sale every December where it would start at 10, 15% off early in December. And then by the time you got to Christmas, you would be in 50 to 75% off certain items. And what he was doing is he was trying to work through his inventory and just kind of clear out the store and start over. This isn't the goal for many businesses. However, this was an event. Everyone knew it was happening. It was unique to them, and you showed up every December and you were ready for it. So think about how can you have an event, whether that's online or in person. Maybe it's a sale, maybe it's a certain kind of feature you do online. And how can you really carve out that niche for your business and your community? Next up is freebies. So everybody loves free stuff, and I don't want you to think that I'm telling you to just give away product here. What I'm asking you is to think outside the box a little bit, knowing your customer's lifestyle, knowing what they need, knowing what they want. How can you give them something that's supportive to them that isn't a huge burden for you to give them? So these two examples here are playlists from this account, a yoga account. So he created these playlists that have songs for meditation and yoga flows. That did not cost him any money. He used Spotify, which is a free platform. It took some time. However, for me, as a person who practices yoga, as a person who teaches yoga, this is amazing. It's a gift. It makes me so excited. And it makes me think, oh my gosh, this account is wonderful. They know what I need. Similarly, here is an example of Pedal House, a bike shop here. They just have this little trail report. It's super simple. All they did was write it on a sign, which sits outside. They know the state of these because they're out riding their bikes on them and they are willing to share it. So you know, okay, Happy Jack is not ready. I'm not going to drive up there and waste my time. Thanks to Pedal House, they know what I need. They know what's going to help me. And so they gave me this freebie gift. It didn't cost them any money, but it helped me out a ton, and I'm going to remember that. Last but not least, make it easy to connect. So make sure your email address, your website, your phone number, your address, all of that is correct. Make sure your links are working. You don't have typos. Simple things. This is probably one of the biggest problems I see in people setting themselves up to network online. Is they're eager, they're ready, they want to communicate, and they just haven't made it easy enough for their audience to engage. And so they don't, because frankly, we're all lazy. We have so much content to consume, and if it's not easy for us, we're going to scroll on to the next thing. So last month, I did a webinar called Audit Your Small Business's Online Presence in 30 minutes. And this is exactly what I talked about. How can you comb through where your business is listed and make sure that it's set up so that people can get in touch with you, make sure that you're not losing customers, and make sure that you just have a really solid foundation so any marketing that you're doing online is effective. Okay, so I'm going to open it up for questions. So go ahead and pop those into the questions panel if you have any. And while you do that, I'm going to go over a little bit of information from our funding partners. So the Wyoming Women's Business Center is made possible through partnership agencies, the U.S. Small Business Administration and the Wyoming Business Council. And we are so thankful for their support and guidance and look very much so forward to the work ahead. As promised, here's some contact information. Here's some contact information, which you're more than welcome to write down and get in touch. On the left is Jonathan Howdyshell, who does one-on-one business counseling, and on the right is my information. If you enjoyed this webinar, we have lots of topics coming up. Like I said, we're talking about business networking through the duration of this month. So the next one is on July 20th, and that's 10 ways introverts can succeed at business networking. We also have a webinar with the US Small Business Administration coming up on small business lending. So you can find details on that on the training page at wyomingwomen.org. So it looks like we don't have any questions. So when I close this webinar here shortly, a survey is going to pop up on your screen. It's just a quick 5-question survey, and I ask that you stay online and complete it for us. It'll only take just a moment. We read every survey, and it really helps us plan our upcoming calendar and improve our offerings. Thank you, everyone, so much for attending. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon.